We have details of all these stories and many more coming up in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us.
Let's start the bulletin from here. The Minister for the Interior has announced the revocation of all existing firearm licenses nationwide, effective Tuesday, June 23, 2026. Now, this is part of a sweeping overhaul of Ghana's firearms regulatory framework.
Amnesty program, which began on December 1, 2025 and ended on July 30, 2026, aimed at reducing the circulation of illicit firearms and improving public safety across the country. Addressing a press briefing in Accra, Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mubarak, said the exercise marks a significant steps in Ghana's effort to combat gun-related crime and strengthen national security. He announced the revocation of all existing firearms licenses nationwide.
From this afternoon, all permits that has been granted to any individual that you are holding a sidearm or firearm is hereby revoked. We are revoking that, and we are opening a window where everyone will have to come forward again to register or to re-register the gun, because we've changed the procedure.
The Interior Minister also cautioned licensed arms dealers to strictly adhere to firearms regulations, warning that any abuse of the licensing regime or involvement in illegal arm trafficking will attract sanctions.
Private security organizations are prohibited from possessing or using firearms in accordance with Regulation 13 of LI 1571. What we've noticed is that people come forward to register private security organization. We grant them the permission, then they take individuals within their organization to register firearms as though they are using it for self-protection. Then they ended up using them for the organization.
With the gun amnesty period over, law enforcement agencies are expected to intensify intelligence and operations, including targeted searches and surveillance activities aimed at retrieving illicit firearms still in circulation. Authorities say additional measures have been implemented to strengthen border security and prevent the trafficking of illicit arms into the country. As part of the post-amnesty activities, over 2,000 seized surrounded firearms will be destroyed in a ceremony scheduled for July 9, 2026 at the police depot in Accra.
Well, let's have a conversation on the back of this. Is this the best approach we could come up with? Richard Kumado is a fraud and a security consultant joining us. Mr. Kumado, thank you so much for joining us. Good evening to you. My first question to you is this. Is revoking all firearm licenses the right approach to fixing what appears to be a system gap?
If you remember, last year at the Public Accounts Committee, when the issue of small arms and the licensing regime came up, the minister indicated that they want to set up a digitalized platform which will speed up acquisition of firearms and the registration thereof. I want to believe that those are some of the reasons that inform this particular decision. Even though looking at it, it looks as if it's a bit more impromptu. Firearm owners who are registered may not have enough time to register their arms. And if you hold a firearm from today to the time of registration, then you might be possessing a gun illegally. And that may raise some level of legal challenges at the court. But having said that, from the position of the minister, if the minister wants to succeed or the Ministry of Interior wants to succeed, there are a number of things that has to be in place. Number one, there has to be a nationwide procedure for people who want to own guns and the registration processes. Number two, there has to be enhanced due diligence for people who trade in arms as a legitimate business. And number three, there has to be a credible system of background checks for people who are willing to own guns in this country. And number four, which is more important, a monitoring regime that ensures that locally manufactured gun owners are being monitored, and the production sites have a system of streamlining their processes. Then the last one is public education, and that we can all help them to do the public education. If you remember, we just finished the Ghana amnesty program, and yet we still have people who are not just having guns, but they are having armories in the city of Accra, and they are opening fire indiscriminately, and that may create some level of difficulties for us. Other than that, they may open up the procedure, people may register, but the unwillingness of some other persons to understand the process clearly to hand over their guns could be a little bit of a challenge in the long run.
Look, beyond the revocation, what happens to people who went through the right process to register their weapons, what they are using at the moment, and now you're telling them that the licenses has been revoked? What should they do? What checks do we have to get back to them to tell them that this is the latest and that you would have to re-register? And how willing will they be to go through the process if it's through no fault of theirs?
That's one of the challenges of the particular form of the announcement and the manner in which it came. They may lead to some level of legal implications and litigations at the court. But then again, we can have a convergence criteria to say this category of persons have had their background checks reports already, and they have guns at their disposal. Should we allow them to start the process all over again? Because the licensing regime is for 1 year, and we are in the middle of the year, and their licenses have been revoked without prior notice. So it could mean that if we set up a convergence criteria, they may have a straightforward system where their licenses could be renewed automatically.
Right.
Or after additional checks has been done. Then for those who do not have background checks, which should be one of the key criteria you have to meet before, they may have to start the process all over again. Because there are various reasons why people own firearms. And to the extent that they have not flouted the rules, bracketing them into that category may create some level of difficulty. So brilliant idea, great initiative. Implementation may have some level of challenges. And I want to believe that if they go by the 4 things I said, we will be having some level of successes. Other than that, there will be some level of challenges in the long run.
Mr. Kumado, I'd like to thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Richard Kumado is a fraud and a security consultant speaking with us there. Listen to some other stories tonight.
9 persons, including the brother of former Dom Kwabenya MP Sarah Adwoa Safo, have been granted bail of 500,000 cedis by the Adenta Circuit Court. The suspects are alleged to have been involved in a shooting incident that resulted in injuries to the former legislator on Sunday, June 21. Lord Idwasari reports.
The 9 accused persons linked to the shooting incident at Kwabenya were arraigned before the circuit court in handcuffs under heavy security. Among them was Nana Kweju Safo Akofena, brother of Sarah Adwoa Safo. According to the prosecution, during a ceremony to install Kweju Safo as successor to the late Apostle Kweju Safo Kantanka, the former Dome Kwabenya MP arrived at the premises but was denied entry, leading to sporadic gunfire that caused her to sustain varying degrees of gunshot injuries. The 8 suspects, identified as personal security guards, were disarmed by the police, who retrieved 6 pump-action guns with 42 rounds of ammunition, as well as 2 pistols. Tamaklo Safo Jehoshaphat, Kwabna Safo, Benjamin Amwakwasam, Bedu Enoch, Richard Aite, and others were charged with the use of offensive weapons, possession of explosives, firearms and ammunition, violation of the Prohibition of Vigilante Groups and Related Activities Act, discharging firearms in a public place, and causing unlawful damage. The remaining accused persons are Nana Kweju Efriye, Gideon Safo, and Kweju Safo Kumsin. They pleaded not guilty to all charges. The lawyers, led by Professor Kwame John, prayed for bail for the accused persons, arguing that they are not vigilantes but registered private security personnel. The court granted all 9 accused persons bail of 500,000, with 2 sureties each not to be justified. The case has been adjourned to September 30. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
Away from that, from July 1, Ghanaians will dig a little deeper to keep the lights on and the taps running. Electricity tariffs will rise by 3.49%, while water will go up by 0.85%. Public Utilities Regulatory Commission Executive Secretary Dr. Shafiq Salam says the adjustment has become necessary. It's driven largely by the prevailing exchange rate and rising power generation costs.
Since May 2025, utility tariffs have moved mostly upward. For electricity, A tariff of 100 cedis before the May 2025 adjustment would now be about 128 cedis, 70 pesos after the July 2026 increase. That is a cumulative rise of about 28.7%. For water, the same 100 cedis would now be about 117 cedis, 90 pesos. That is a cumulative increase of about 17.9%. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, says these adjustments are driven largely by the prevailing exchange rate and rising generation costs. PURC Executive Secretary Dr. Shafiq says the Commission considers the pressure on consumers, but some of the cost drivers are beyond its control.
So we are more sympathetic to the consumer than the utility service provider, because the issues that come on to be considered for the adjustment are tilted more to the disadvantage of the consumer, and we protect that interest to the highest level of standard if you are relating that to stability, reliability, and consistency of the flow, and then even the rate of adjustment or rate of increase. But the most important thing I keep saying is the reliability, and balancing that with the cost. And as I can assure you, more effort is kept in the reliability, because the reliability and the stability are top priority. And then costs we are working on to ensure that it's not a burden to all of us.
He further adds that the adjustments will go a long way to address some long-standing challenges within the sector. Dr. Shafiq is urging Ghanaians to support the measures, saying they are necessary to help deliver a more stable power supply.
Let's now go to the Western region, where a newly constructed 60-meter span bridge over the River Win at Apremdo under construction, Takoradi Agona Nkwanta dual carriageway, faces the risk of structural failure due to gross unauthorized development. One of the bridge's 3 major spans has been completely backfilled and converted into a car washing bay. Irama Smith has more.
The newly constructed Apremdo Bridge is one of 3 major bridges under construction Takoradi Agona Nkwanta dual carriageway being developed under government's Big Push program. Unlike the old bridge, the new structure features 3 wide spans designed to efficiently convey flood waters from the River Win. The construction of a bridge with sufficient hydraulic capacity to reduce flooding in surrounding communities, which is highly susceptible to inundation, comes as good news to the people. However, these gains risk being undermined. One of the major spans intended to carry significant volumes of river flow has been backfilled and developed into a car washing bay. As a result, the waterway beneath the bridge has been narrowed, while signs of erosion are already emerging around some of the bridge piers. The Chief Executive Officer of Jasmine Construction Limited, Justice Amor, is concerned not only about the structural integrity of the bridge, but also about complaints from residents regarding backflow effects that are causing flooding upstream.
One major span is totally blocked. So, if you are then it's reversing. Now, a creative flooding or other places. And there, I was saying, so cry, Sebi, where bridge S7, the highway, Takoradi Agona dual carriage. Inti overshare erosion has started ADD PS, you know. Inti wana fe akwa affected bridge na ankasa PS no so aye week na a collapse.
The Ghana Highway Authority's consultant on the Takoradi Agona Nkwanta Road project, Ajay Frimpong, called on the Ahanta West Municipal Assembly and the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, to take immediate action to remove the unauthorized structures and restore the river's natural channel. According to him, swift intervention is necessary to avert a potential disaster and safeguard the newly constructed bridge.
We are appealing to the Assembly to come and do the needful. Otherwise, very soon, if you have two continuous rains, there will be, serious, flooding at the upstream section of the river.
Irama Smith, TV3 News, Western Region.
Now back here in the capital, Greater Accra market queens have thrown their support behind the Makola Market redevelopment project. Addressing the media after several meetings, the leadership of the Market Queens Association said the assembly can proceed with the project.
Traders operating at the 31st December Makola Market A&B in Accra staged a protest on Friday, May 15, and petitioned President Mahama over what they describe as plans by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to relocate them from the market. The traders say the intended relocation exercise has created fear and uncertainty among hundreds of business owners and workers who depend on the market for their daily income and livelihood. According to the traders, the planned relocation by city authorities is being carried out without adequate consultation and, most importantly, without providing an alternative trading space before the exercise begins. Updating the media after weeks of engagement, President of the Greater Accra Market Association, Mercy Na Afowa Nijan, said allocations have been made for affected traders to pave way for the construction project.
What they are doing is about 1/10 of Makola. But even that 1/10, if you finish, can accommodate more than 50%. So why should he say we will not allow? We want development. Accra want development. Nobody will be sent away. They have been given 2 places, community center, Rawlings Park, and the body say, why nobody stops you. But the place is there. The place is there, is waiting for them. Whoever is ready today, we can take them to the place.
She called on all traders to cooperate with the exercise to facilitate the construction and help upgrade the market.
This building is too old, over 100 years. Are we waiting for a disaster to happen before we say, a building which is over 100 years, even over 100 years when somebody is using it. So what do we want? We want development.
The traders say they remain committed to dialogue and are hopeful that the ongoing engagement with authorities will ensure a smooth transition while safeguarding their businesses and livelihoods.
In more news tonight, the legacy of former President Jerry John Rawlings has once again been eulogized for his role in stabilizing the economy and pioneering the Fourth Republic. But as tributes poured in, speakers used the occasion to warn against a return to what they describe as failed leadership, urging the party to remain committed to Rawlings's ideals of accountability, justice, and national development.
Leadership of the governing NDC and the J.J. Rawlings Foundation held 2 events on Monday, June 22, to commemorate the late former head of state and founder of the party, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. The event highlighted Rawlings' commitment to national integration, unity, social development, probity, accountability, and social justice. Speakers at the lecture reflected on his journey from leading a revolution during a period of national uncertainty to overseeing Ghana's transition into democratic governance. Renowned lawyer Chatuchi Kata urged current and future government not to return the country to what he described as the dangerous era of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration.
There is a danger, especially after what the country went through in the disastrous 2017 to 2024 period under President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Bawumia. There is a danger that we lower the bar of what the nation expects of us in the NDC, and that we aim to be just a little better than the previous government. The decisive rejection of the NPP in the December 2024 elections, both in the presidential and the parliamentary elections. That is decisive proof that the ideals for which the NDC was founded and which we still hold dear, these ideals matter to the people of Ghana.
He also praised the late NDC founder for his contribution to Ghana's development. Board chair of Ghana Gas, Kofi Totobi Kwachi, who served as a minister under the Rawlings administration, said the NDC was not established for personal gain, urging members to uphold the values and principles of the party.
Those of us who lived through the turbulence of those years know what the revolution demanded. It demanded a willingness to confront moral decay, arrogance, impunity, and the dangerous belief that public office was the private property of a privileged few. Not every action of those years was perfect. No honest participant in that history can make such a claim. But the essential lesson of the revolution was clear, that Ghana must belong to the many.
Local governance experts, Akwesi Oponfosu, defended the June 4th uprising led by Jerry John Rawlings, saying current NDC members must take responsibility and ensure the ideas associated with Rawlings reflect in their actions.
46 years on, the revolution is asking a serious question. Did we eradicate impunity, or did impunity just change clothes? We recall an extreme situation that resulted in the collapse of the economy and public trust in leadership. When you ignore root causes, symptoms return. We condemned the methods of the revolution, but we were never willing to address what created it in our national conversations.
The event, attended by Vice President Professor Jenano Pokwajiman, Chief of the Asogli Traditional Area, Togbe Apede the 14th, as well as government officials, themed From Revolution to Fourth Republic, the legacy of J.J. Rawlings. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, the 1-0 victory over Panama has given Ghanaians a reason to dream big. The Black Stars now face the biggest test yet against football powerhouse England. Across the country, confidence is growing even though others are still in doubt. Christabel Sasser-Trevor, she hit the streets to find out.
But who said energy in a high? What predictions are you saying?
2-1
against
England.
I'm in for 2-0 if ever Ghana. I'm tipping Semenyo to be on the score sheet.
Today, Ghana will score 2-0. Ghana will score 2-0.
Okay.
That's my only belief I have today.
Hurricane alone is giving us 4 goals.
Giving them 4 goals or giving us?
Giving them 4 goals.
Okay.
Bellingham for 2. So I think Ghana is going to conceive about 8-9 goals today.
So 9 goals against Ghana?
0.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, it's really possible. It's really possible.
So you don't believe any Ghanaian player can score for us?
Okay, I think Semenyo is doing his job, but they are not putting efforts to help him.
Yes, we are going to beat them, and it's my prayer too.
How confident are you?
Truly, it will come to pass.
So many people are doubting Ghana, but I feel like Ghana is going to thrive. Maybe a 2-0. Yeah.
Who exactly is going to score?
Semenyo and Branding.
Ghana will win for sure.
Yeah, Moran was high. Moran was high. Said last time no more born. Sunny shade just in night. Chrome yeah, de any arena. And to this time Moran was high. Wow, Rami outfit and I said, check it. And then Jim, one of the best young packers here 2 pet. Not 2 of Makuma. And 1 year here. And ya dear young say, your best say, Obia bois. Obia can be as a young Sebiano. You best have an new. And never say,
you best won't.
You best 4. Omo should be cry. You're the cap on Ghana.
There are a lot of mixed reactions on the street right now, but millions of Ghanaians tonight will be hoping that the Black Stars can rise to the occasion and deliver a performance that is worthy of the World Cup stage. But one thing is clear, that expectations ahead of this particular match has reached fever pitch. Christabel Sasser-Trevor, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, congratulations in advance to the Black Stars of Ghana. And Universal Merchants Bank on Tuesday embarked on a massive market invasion in Kumasi to galvanize support for the senior national team, the Black Stars. The bank also used the occasion to engage the public on some of its banking products.
A moment of creating public awareness about Ghana's crucial match and invoking the spirit of victory in the ongoing FIFA World Cup. Staff and management of the Universal Merchant Bank on Tuesday stormed Kumasi, the central business district, to galvanize support for the Black Stars. The bank also used the exercise to engage potential customers, with hundreds of them subscribing to various banking products of the Universal Merchant Bank.
Here to create awareness for all the Ghanaians to support the Black Star, and at the same time we want to tell the Ghanaian public that UMB has been in existence since 1972, and we are here to support their business, make sure that their business grow. We want to grow with them. We want to make sure that their business are done with speed, as our core value says. We do business with speed, and for everybody to have an account with UMB, he needs to just scan or just link us, and then we'll open an account for you.
10,000 customers were targeted during the activation.
You're watching News 360. We're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We have more stories for you, but after this break, don't go away.
The Executive Director at the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSE, Benjamin Nsia, has strongly criticized the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC's, recent decision to increase electricity tariffs by more than 3%. Mr. Nsia labeled the move as unjustified, arguing that it undermines the transparency of the regulatory body's operations.
SEMSE's executive director pointed out that the PURC's reliance on a marginal 0.2% currency depreciation to enforce the tariff hike ignores other vital declining market-driven indicators. He highlighted that inflation has decreased, the weighted average cost of gas has fallen, and the overall energy mix has remained stable compared to previous quarters.
PURC's reliance on only depreciation of about 0.2% to increase tariff by more than 3% on electricity is unjustified. I think that it doesn't bring clarity in their operations, and also feeds into the narrative that they are only there to protect the interests of utility providers and not consumers.
Warning of the adverse side effects of the price hike, Nsia noted that such flawed increment create ambiguity among Ghanaians and rarely yield the desired revenue mobilization for utilities.
The way PURC arbitrarily increases tariff to benefit the utility providers and not the consumers will not build consumer trust. The consumer is likely not going to trust, and this is likely going to cause the avoidance of paying bills because consumer will believe that PURC only serves the interest of the utility providers, and for that matter, they will renege on their duty and obligatory practice to pay realistic tariff or pay bills to the utility providers or to the state, and that is likely going to increase the losses of or system losses of PURC, especially with respect to uncollected revenue.
In a major move to formalize and sanitize the country's multi-billion-dollar artisanal mining sector, the Ghana Gold Board has held crucial regulatory discussions with licensed gold traders across the country. This strategic intervention aims to eradicate smuggling and ensure that the nation's precious mineral wealth directly fortifies the local economy.
The high-level engagement marks a significant effort by the state regulator to dramatically improve operational standards, block illicit financial leakages, and enforce strict transparency within Ghana's artisanal and small-scale gold mining trade. The discussion centered on implementing tight new compliance measures designed to align domestic gold trading with international best practices. Officials from Gold Board emphasized that standardizing these protocols is essential to protecting value across the entire supply chain, safeguarding the livelihoods of small-scale miners, securing the investment of local traders, and ultimately buffering the broader national economy. The definitive breakthrough of the engagement was a mutual agreement to officially adopt the London Bullion Markets Association pricing formula and trading window. By tying local trade directly to the global LBMA benchmark, Gold Board expects to eliminate arbitrary pricing, eradicate black market smuggling incentives, and establish a high transparent transaction ecosystem. Regulatory authorities believe this shift will inject much needed trust into the artisanal sector, ensuring small-scale miners receive fair, competitive international rates for their gold, while positioning Ghana as a certified, responsible sourcing hub in the global market.
Let's bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market. The business 7:60, I am Michael Obodu. Up next, the sports.
Hello again. On the international front, the head of the UN's HIV agency, Winnie Byanyima, has warned that the United States' decision to withdraw all of its HIV and AIDS funding from South Africa is likely to cost lives. South Africa does not rely on U.S. funding for HIV drugs, but the U.S. made a significant contribution to the country's programs to prevent the spread of the virus. U.S. officials told the BBC that the funding cut was in part a response to South Africa's alleged failure to protect the white minority Afrikaner community, an accusation Pretoria rejects. South Africa's health ministry responded by saying that though it had not been informed of this decision, it had long been working on a self-reliance plan. Until 2025, the U.S. was supporting South Africa's efforts to deal with the virus with an estimated $400 million a year through the President's Emergency Fund for AIDS Relief.
Well, that's our package for you tonight, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby Annan.
And I am Portia Gabor, the best of the Black Stars of Ghana.